From the KMNN studios, this is the Kids Morning News Network.
Hey everybody, it's Friday, March 8th, 2024. I'm Alex in the KMNN studio in New York. Get ready to time travel this weekend. An hour, straight into the future. Yep, this weekend is when daylight saving time begins in many states. Most states, really. And yes, it's saving, singular, not savings, plural. It's not just a United States thing either. Some countries call it summertime, which honestly is easier for me to remember, kind of like the metric system. In the US, daylight saving time goes from the second Sunday in March until the first Sunday in November. We set the clocks back an hour so we have more sunlight during the time of day most people are awake.
Perfect.
It basically takes an hour of daylight from the evening and moves it to the morning. The idea of having this kind of a time shift began in the 1800s. That's when things like trains and telegraphs were invented. Before that, people didn't worry too much about keeping to exact schedules. But as the world got more modern, keeping on a schedule became more important. The first official daylight saving time was in Canada, in the eastern province of Ontario. It really caught on in Europe during World War I. It was a way to save coal, which was needed for the war effort. The United States finally got on board toward the end of that war in 1918. Sometimes you hear that daylight saving time was invented for farmers. Not true. In fact, farmers really didn't like it when it began because it messed up their schedules.
Ha!
Today, the only two states that don't observe it are Arizona and Hawaii. And if you're not sure which way the clocks are going, just remember, spring forward, fall back. Happy birthday tomorrow to Barbie. Barbie's birthday is March 9th, 1959. That was the day she was introduced at the American International Toy Fair in New York City. She was created by a woman named Ruth Handler, who started a toy company called Mattel with her husband. Ruth had a daughter named Barbara. Barbara's dolls were all babies. On a trip to Germany, Ruth saw a doll of a grown-up. She thought Barbara would like that. And sure enough, Barbara did. So Ruth created her own version and named it Barbie. Other people at the toy company, including Ruth's husband, weren't sure anyone would buy it. But Barbie was a hit right away. She sold about 350,000 in the first year. Back then, Barbie only cost $3. If you had one of those 1959 Barbies now, you could get thousands of dollars for it. More than 20,000 if it was in excellent shape. All right, time for the riddle. Wednesday's was, it's often found on the ground, but never gets dirty. What is it? It's a shadow. Today's riddle is, as soon as you say its name, it disappears. As soon as you say its name, it disappears. And no, I'm not talking about my cat Sid, although he does the same thing. I'll give you the answer to the riddle on Monday. The International Space Station, or ISS, has a leak. Outer space is getting a little dose of fresh air these days. The leak is in the Russian service module at the connection to the docking port, where cargo ships come to deliver supplies to the crew. According to NASA, the leak has been there a while, but it has grown since early February. Still pretty small, but it has doubled in size. Since the leak is in the docking area, it can be sealed off from the rest of the ISS. Though, whenever a cargo ship docks, they have to open that hatch for a while to unload everything. NASA says it's not a big deal, but they're keeping an eye on it. While crew members have been living on board the ISS since the year 2000, scientists are looking at replacing it. Russia has already said it will build its own station and be out of the ISS by 2028. NASA, meanwhile, is counting on private companies to build the ISS's replacement. And it says it plans to let the ISS come back to Earth and burn up in the atmosphere in January 2031. And the weather today, rain and snow stretching from Colorado and New Mexico east and north across the Midwest. Possible severe weather in parts of Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. All right, that's it for this week. It's been a very exciting week with the interview we had with Layla on Wednesday. Thank you very much for listening. If you liked that episode or this episode, please like us on your podcast app and leave a review. And of course, subscribe, share, and spread the word about the Kids Morning News Network. I'll be back Monday. I hope you are too. From the KMNN Newsroom, this is Alex, signing off.